Hey everybody, it's Christo. Listen, I just want to make a quick comment about something that's kind of on my mind right now, and it's something I think needs to be said, but it might not be that important to you guys, but it is to me because it has a lot to do with my creative workflow. And that is, Intel just announced the price of a Surface Pro Studio. Big giant touch screen monitor thing, and I use an iPad and I love touch. That's my thing. Entry price, $5,500 to start. And that's just the computer, okay? Apple, just prior to that, announced that their iMac Pro, basically the same one that I bought several years ago, with the same specs, but different processors, obviously, because, it's now many years later. And, but, still the same level of very professional computer. And at that time, even though the total price for outfitting a computer as a studio, which included monitors, included external RAID drives, included all kinds of plugins and software and synthesizers and interfaces that could connect to it, was about $7,000. And that's a lot too. But it was a lot easier to deal with as an investment from the justification standpoint because, it came with instruments. As time has gone on, Apple has updated their software as Intel has, and now both parties, Intel and Apple, want $5,500 entry price, which is, for a creative person, that is like taking a knife and just jamming it into our heart over and over again, okay? I'm sure you guys know that. But, hey, let's face it, 90% of the folks that are making the big money aren't struggling sound designers and stuff. They're very famous people from the pop world or whatever. But it's got to be a little bit disappointing for most of you. My suggestion, buy an iPad. Buy an iPad interface that connects to the iPad so you can input audio. Use the DAWs in the iPad. They are vastly superior, easier to update. It is just an amazing world. And to you, Apple, and to Intel, I say this, okay? Until you can provide us with the equivalent in power, at least on iOS, Apple, who makes all their money on the iPhone, on an iPad Pro, the exact same power equivalent that your tabletops, which are like working with a club in a dark room. I'm not buying any more computers. I'm just gonna buy iPads and hardware synths. And that's the way to do it, because wasting my money on a workstation or something when I can have 4 DAWs inside of an iPad that work compared to something with a mouse and a keyboard and shortcuts. Believe me, everybody, if you keep allowing yourselves to listen to people who are still using computers and, mixing boards and studios and all that kind of stuff, the reason they're preaching that stuff to you is because they are clinging on to all their old data, their old methodology that they have become experts at using. And the idea of using something like an iPad, terrifying to them. And anyway, that's my speech. Peace, over and out. iPads need to be as powerful as any other computer you can name.